I'm so not over what happened during my PhD, and this is like 15 years later. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure out what actually happened. And, here I was. I went to perhaps one of the best engineering schools in the world for my undergrad, and I was I've somewhat had figured things out. I was accelerating. I didn't do very well at the beginning, but then I had very good grades at the end of it. And then I did my master's degree at the same school, and I accelerated that by basically cutting it in half. And I went into my PhD program thinking that, so normally people take 2 years, I took 1 year. And normally when I applied to different PhD programs, I got into the one that I only applied to Canadian PhD programs because that's what I knew. And I think I got into all of them. I was only denied from the University of Toronto. And that's because I think I was applying for finance at the time. And that's just, it wouldn't have worked out. But I got into all these different PhD programs where I was just aiming to do. And then I picked the one that I wanted to go to, and it was actually my top choice to begin with anyway, so I was really excited to go to it. And, it was one of the best business schools in the country, and if not the best, and well-known and recognized for that. And I got into it, and I thought I would be accelerating this and going through it very quickly. And I was doing that within the coursework. I was doing okay. Not like crazy good, but okay, because I had a lot of stuff that happened to me in personal aspects. I had, 2 deaths in the family, just trying to figure things out. Very close people, trying to figure things out. And I thought it would have been somewhat of a cakewalk. My plan was to get in 4 years and get out. And what I realized when I got into it is that there is a lot more social aspects of trying to figure out who to actually work with, who are great people. I've eventually found very, very good mentors. But it took a long time to find that. And I wandered around for a very long time trying to find my sense of self. And when I found my sense of self, and what I was interested in, what I was doing, and what I was going to talk about, it felt like I wasted 2 years at the beginning. And I probably actually really did. 2 years, if not even longer. And I really struggled to try to figure out just really what I was all about. I came in very determined in terms of I'm just going to get this done and get over with and get out. And I left feeling very, very uncertain, very absolutely demoralized. I went on the job market twice. This was back in 2009 was my first job market. There's nobody. And I didn't realize that the job market really heavily often penalizes Canadian PhDs, and still even to this day. And it's simply because people just don't know it. It's an unknown quantity. So even if you're... And I was also pretty stuck in terms of where I applied to. I eventually got really wide, like really wide, and I was applying to, I think, both rounds. I applied to like 80 different schools. And the first round, I got nothing. Absolutely nothing. No crickets, anything like that. And there was like a little mid-round in between of the hiring rounds. So it's like these moments where there's hiring. And I had one interview in that mid-round. And it was nice, and I was happy, and it was like a very pleasant experience, but I didn't get it. And I went through all of this. It took me a lot longer, and finally at the end of it, I was so dismayed and so heartbroken with the whole process that I determined that I was going to walk away from everything by Christmas time if I didn't get an interview. Because I was working with great people, doing good stuff, and I was being locked out of a lot of different opportunities. And eventually I got one fly out. It happened, but this was back in, I think it was October. And I determined that I was going to just stop. And I think what ended up happening, sort of found out later, is that I think I wasn't even their first top pick. But I got the job. And I've been here ever since. But I got the job, I think it was like mid-November that I got the phone call. So it was within a month of me deciding just to quit and go work in a factory. Because I had 2 young kids at the time, or actually one young 3-year-old, and then a newborn that was on the way. And I was so dismayed with it all and so crushed that it just stuck with me for a long time. I was grateful to get that opportunity to get a job, but the whole process was I felt so lost through it all. I felt like, and I would assume that if you were talking to my advisors, even today, they would probably tell you all of this is true. They would probably say that they go through the same things with all of that. I don't put words in their eyes, but they have the same experiences. And we're collectively going through these different experiences. All of us, and many of us, except for often it's the one person. There's usually like a handful of kind of like, and I'm very cynical on this, and I apologize if you're one of these people. They're like golden childs, that everything just kind of clicks, everything works, and they go through and they get a job very quickly, and they get all these interviews and opportunities. I mean, even at my institution, I'm always baffled. You know, I in a lot of ways, I'm pretty bittered because I'm always baffled with the amount of interviews that people get when that wasn't the experience that I had. And I knew that I was doing quite well with everything. And because I think, like now, I have, you know, I'm getting more recognized for doing good work and all of that kind of stuff. But what I'm suggesting with this is that there is a lot of information that's missing. There's a lot of decision points. There's a tremendous amount of ambiguity that people think that you get all this feedback all the time, which is not really true. You actually don't get a lot of feedback. If you're working with great people, you can get feedback and support. And I think, like, I definitely had that, but I still felt very alone. And then there's been moments along the path since then, where it went years without having that kind of feeling of, you know, connecting with people and all those kind of things. So I'm telling you the truth, because this is what you're going to experience. And you will not know how to deal with this. And I think it's time to change it. So that's why I'm building the whole reciprocity project, is because it's time to change it. I think we can revolutionize this with more feedback. And there's lots of questions you never want to ask. You don't know where you stand, all these kind of things. So I'm trying to build that into the platform. If you log into it, you can see all these different things that I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to make it more fun, more exciting, so you're motivated every day. You know, the motivational component, I'm really weird because I'm typically a motivated person. But even me, you know, of going through, I came from a family that didn't even go to school. It was weird to go to school, right? So I was this weird person that left. And I still feel like if I don't make them proud, that I'm doing something wrong, right? So I feel this deep obligation because I was the first in my family to go away, and getting a high school degree, and not just like completing high school was a big thing in my family. It was the thing, right? Like that's where everybody. It was the thing, and people like today don't understand that, but man, it was a big thing. And I came from a little dinky town in the middle of nowhere, 4 hours from any university. I just wish we can get this started. I wish I can get your support to change this. You know, I can see there's a lot of opportunity that's here. So what can you do if you're in this circumstance, right? I think, I would say, why aren't the hell you not supporting the reciprocity project in some sort of way? Like, what the hell? Seriously, I'm getting frustrated. But I think the key thing to realize when you're in this is know that you're not alone, right? There's many other people that are going through this, and you have to get back up and you do it again, and you push away. It's like doing weights every day. You just ignore, right? You keep ignoring, even when it's not feeling good. And you take those steps forward every day where you wish you can accomplish something, but it never happens, right? Like you just keep taking steps forward. And I think, you know, if you're lucky and you're fortunate, you'll find the right combination of people to be around. But I don't think that's ever going to, for most of us, that doesn't happen. Right? Your spouse is not going to get what you're doing. Your family's not going to get what you're doing unless they've gone through it before. But even then, I find that even academics really don't get it because they have such different motives often, different incentives, different reasons of how they see the world, different ways of working. You know, that there's often just a tremendous amount of ambiguity. And so it's up to you. And you have to get out. And you have to figure it out on your own. You have to grow that stiff upper lip, get mad at the world, get that visceral feeling of like, just screw you, and keep going forward. Keep taking steps one little day at a time. But I think one of the more important things that you could ever do is to change your default. So I think that's where I was wrong at the beginning, right? I think I was wrong because I thought everything would go quick, everything would go easy, and I would be the superstar sailing through things, in which very might have, I think if I was in a very different circumstance and had the right resources, it would have worked out. But That's the moderating factor, is the context. And if you don't have that, what do? You do what I do. You get back up and you do it again. Right? That circumstance is not going to happen for most of us. And so what you have to do is change your default. And your default, it's going to be routine failure. Your default is you're going to have to do this yourself. Your default is ignore whatever everybody else thinks of you and just keep taking steps forward every single day until probably nothing will happen. It probably will never be a click. Things probably won't come together, but you just keep doing it anyways until you're 90 years old. And that's it. That's the story. And so me getting over this is taking years and years of both therapy, of talking through it, of reframing the story. And I wish you the best of luck in your own journey.